Hello, so here's how I completed my Arrow of Light. This one is Donald's for this year. Everyone's going to kind of look a little different depending on what they finished. I've already completed the two that I was working on this year, so I have a dowel rod that I'm going to use to demonstrate. I took a tape measure and marked off the length of each color that I need to do. So I just did a quarter length and an inch, just to kind of demonstrate. Like I said, I've already completed the ones, so I'm just going to show with what I have available right now. I found that using a glue stick with the thread was the easiest for me. I'm using a clear glue stick tonight. I actually did the other two arrows with one of the purple glue sticks that change to clear when you're done. So I take the glue stick and take the cap off. My fingers did get very sticky in the process, but it worked really well for me. Just take the thread, put it on the glue stick, and kind of pull it across. So now my thumb is nice and sticky, and the thread is nice and sticky. I didn't want to have too many loose ends, so I actually held this in place. And I'm sorry, my rod's backwards from the way I was working. Okay, so I held this one in place, lined up where I wanted it, and then just started threading around and then looping, making sure that I covered the original black line. And then as you can see, as I'm coming down, I'm kind of covering up this other piece of thread as well. So once I get started, I just start spinning it. When I realize that the thread is no longer sticky, because I only glued so much, I would just take the glue stick and run it back, putting the thread on the glue stick, and then just run the thread back through again for a certain distance, and then do some more twisting. I kind of ended up, like, if you see here, there's some space. So if you just push the thread, what's nice about the glue stick is that it is still pliable, so you can move it around if you need to. And we're just gonna keep spinning until we get where we're going. A little more glue. Okay, so now I'm at my next black line. Just going to kind of make sure that this is smoothed out. And then the next tool that I used in this process, just a simple pair of fingernail clippers. A pair of scissors would probably work just as well. Fingernail clippers just happened to be what I had right by me when I was starting. So I clipped just a little more than what I need. Again, the same thing. The less frayed ends that I had is kind of how I wanted it. So I'm going to take it and tuck it, and then we're going to kind of pull this down just a little bit. And as you can see, it's not sticking very well, so I am going to hit it with some glue. There we go. And kind of come down a little bit. So what coming down like this is going to do is when I start my next thread, it's going to actually cover that up. So I'm going to go into my next color. Same thing with the glue stick. And the same thing, I'm going to leave a little bit of the thread hanging loose down at the bottom. Well, not really loose because we're going to glue it in place, but... And then I'm going to start right where my string came down. Oops, sorry. I'm going to start right where my string came down to wrap back around again. Okay, so now as I'm wrapping this time, I'm covering the same color, and I'm covering that last little piece of loose string from the other one. We want to kind of make sure, again, it's as tight as you can get it.
Mom, did you say a timer?
Yes. Okay, we're going to keep wrapping. Okay, and I know I did a few more marks, but I'm going to go ahead and stop here since I'm getting to the sticker on my dowel. So then when I got to the very, very end of as far as I wanted to go, I clipped it again. So this time, since we're not going to be overlapping, I clipped it right where I wanted it at. Okay, oh, sticky. And then I'm going to take and just push. In order to keep this piece nice and tight and glued, I actually came back with my glue stick and just came over it a few times. And then what I actually did too was kind of came back and forth across my whole arrow like this, because again the glue dries clear, so it really doesn't matter. And then with my fingers I just kind of swept back around to even it out, just to make sure that if I had any loose frays, they kind of stuck in place. Now I will say the difference between the clear glue and the purple glue. So this is what it looks like when you're done. All nice and tight. It seems a lot harder than it is, I promise. It's not as tricky as it sounds. Here's the difference between the regular glue and the clear glue. So I finished this one up in the clear glue, and you'll see how it's kind of a little shinier than this one here that wasn't finished in the clear glue. Oops. It's not much of a difference though, so it's really up to you which type of glue you want to use. But that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. Thanks. Bye.